This is the Tom Bigby Tales, and I'm your host, Shannon Evans. I write about a small town in northeast Mississippi called Columbus along the Tombigbee River, and sometimes I write about the rest of the state. This episode is about the Sykes family and the legacy of their family in Columbus, Mississippi. In the bustling Antebellum South, few stories capture the essence of wealth, family ties, and tragedy quite like that of James Williams Sykes Jr. Born on a crisp winter day, January 19, 1830, in Greenville County, Virginia, young James was destined for a life of prominence and complexity in a rapidly changing America. James Jr. was born into a family of means and connections, a lineage that traced its roots deep into the fabric of Southern society. His father, James Sykes Sr., hailed from Virginia, born in 1810 into a world still echoing with the ideals of the young republic. The elder Sykes, a man of ambition and foresight, married his cousin Martha William Lanier Sykes, a union that set the tone for the close-knit nature of Southern aristocracy. Sometime in the late 1830s, James moved to Columbus, Mississippi, with his wife and young family. The Sykes family's standing in society was evident through James Sr.'s role as a trustee at the Columbus Female Institute. The prestigious institution, founded in 1847, was one of the earliest attempts in Mississippi to provide higher education for women, a progressive notion for the time. James Sr. served alongside other pillars of the Columbus community, including T.C. Billups, S.A. Brown, N.H. McCain, S.B. Malone, W.W. Humphreys, and T.G. Blewett Sr. Their collective efforts shaped the educational landscape of Columbus, fostering a generation of well-educated Southern women who would play crucial roles in the region's social and cultural development. Following his father's footsteps, James Jr. pursued higher education, a privilege reserved for the elite in the mid-19th century. He graduated from Transylvania University in Kentucky with a law degree in 1850 or 1851. Transylvania University, founded in 1780, was one of the oldest universities west of the Allegheny Mountains and had a reputation for producing some of the finest legal minds in the country. James Jr.'s education there not only equipped him with legal expertise, but also exposed him to a broader world of ideas and connections beyond the confines of the Southern upbringing. In a move that was not uncommon for the time, especially among wealthy Southern families seeking to preserve their lineage and fortunes, James Jr. married his cousin Marcella Jane Sykes on April 9, 1851, in Monroe County, Mississippi. Marcella was the daughter of William Sykes, who had settled in nearby Aberdeen, further cementing the family's roots in the region. This marriage, like many others of its kind, served multiple purposes. It kept wealth within the family, strengthened familial bonds, and maintained the social status quo of the Antebellum South. In 1854, James Jr. made a significant purchase that would become a cornerstone of the family's legacy in Columbus, Mississippi. He bought what is now Aldan Hall from John Topps and updated it to a stately home with the help of local architect James Lull. The home served as a physical manifestation of the Sykes family's wealth and status. The Greek Revival mansion, with its now imposing columns and spacious new rooms, was more than just a residence. It was a statement of the family's place in society. This home allowed Marcella and the children to live in town, facilitating their attendance at church and participation in social gatherings. In the Antebellum South, a woman's social life was intrinsically tied to her family's status. Marcella's ability to engage in Columbus society from such a prestigious address spoke volumes about the Sykes family's standing. Moreover, it provided a proper setting for their children's access to education and social development, ensuring that the next generation of Sykes would be raised with all the advantages their parents could provide. The home likely hosted numerous social events, from intimate dinner parties to grand balls, where the elite of Columbus would gather to discuss politics, business, and the latest social gossip. These gatherings were not merely for pleasure, they were essential networking opportunities where alliances were formed, marriages were arranged, and the future of Mississippi's high society was often shaped. James and Marcella's union produced 4 children, each born into a world of privilege and expectation. Wildy Sykes Billups, born in 1852 and died in 1899, was the eldest. She would go on to marry into the prominent Billups family, further entwining the Sykes with Columbus's elite. Rebecca Jane Sykes was born in 1854 and died in 1859. Young's short life and early death at age 5 was a stark reminder of the precariousness of life in the 19th century, even for the wealthy. Childhood diseases such as diphtheria, scarlet fever, and cholera were common and often fatal, sparing neither the rich nor the poor. Ida Josephine Sykes Billups was born in 1858 and died in 1891. Like her elder sister, Ida also married into the Billups family, reinforcing the close-knit nature of Columbus's upper class. James Williams Sykes III was born in 1861 and died in 1878. Born just as the Civil War began, young James III's life would be shaped by the aftermath of the conflict that claimed his own father's life. The 1860 census provides a snapshot of the Sykes family at the height of their prosperity. James Jr. is listed as the owner of what is today Aldan Hall, where he resided with Marcella and their children. The census also noted his plantation, a common source of wealth for Southern elites. His total estate was valued at $60,000, a fortune equivalent to over $2 million in today's currency. This wealth would have been reflected in every aspect of the family's life, from their clothing and furnishings to the education of their children and their standing in the community. As the drums of war began to beat across the nation, James Williams Sykes Jr.'s life took a fateful turn. The election of Abraham Lincoln in 1860 and the subsequent secession of Southern states set the stage for a conflict that would tear the nation apart. Like many of his peers, James Jr. answered the call to arms, leaving behind his young family and prosperous life to defend the Confederate cause. On December 14, 1861, at the young age of 31, James Jr. died, likely from disease, while en route to Nashville with the Confederate Army. His mission had been to assist in fortifying the city against the advancing Union forces, particularly in preparation for the upcoming Battle of Fort Donelson. This battle would take place in February of 1862 and would result in a significant Union victory and open up the Cumberland River, a vital supply route, to the Union control. The circumstances of James Jr.'s burial remain somewhat mysterious, reflecting the chaos and uncertainty of wartime. A stone stands in his honor at Friendship Cemetery in Columbus, Mississippi in Lot 67. However, it's unclear whether his body was returned home or if the stone serves as a cenotaph, a monument erected in memory of a person buried elsewhere. This uncertainty was not uncommon during the Civil War, when many families were left without the closure of a proper burial for their loved ones. James Williams Sykes Jr.'s life was cut short, but it left an indelible mark on Columbus, Mississippi. From his purchase of what is today Aldan Hall to his ultimate and untimely death in service to the Confederacy, his story encapsulates the complexities of the Antebellum South, a tale of wealth, family connections, and the looming shadow of war. The Sykes family's influence extended beyond James Jr.'s lifetime. Their intermarriages with other prominent families, particularly the Billups, helped shape the social and economic landscape of post-war Columbus. The educational legacy established by James Sr.'s involvement with the Columbus Female Institute would continue to benefit generations of young women, including his own offspring in Mississippi. As we delve deeper into the Sykes family saga, let's uncover how the lives of his widow and children unfolded in the tumultuous years that followed. Marcella, suddenly a young woman with 4 children, would have faced the challenges of maintaining the family status and wealth in a world turned upside down by war. The children, particularly young James III, born just as his father marched off to war, would come of age in a South fundamentally altered by defeat and Reconstruction. The story of James Williams Sykes Jr. and his family is more than just a tale of one man or one family. It's a microcosm of the Antebellum South, and it captures the complexities, the contradictions, and ultimate tragedy of a society on the brink of monumental change. Thank you for coming on my podcast, The Tombigbee Tales, and learning a little bit more about the history of the people who built Columbus. Until next time.